All right, guys, welcome back to episode 2 of the Talking Sports podcast. I'm here with my bro.
What's going on?
What's up? What's up? Got a good one for you today, guys. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Let us know about these topics we're going to be talking about. And we're excited to have some of you guys on the channel soon.
For sure, for sure. We want to say thank you so much for those who tuned in to our first two episodes,
For
our
sure.
introduction and our first episode of the Talking Sports podcast. Thank you for all the likes, all the comments. Thank you for subscribing. Continue to do so. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Thank you all. Hit the notification bell so that you can see all of our content that we post. There will be posts that come out with a lot of different topics that you can like vote on, things like that. Also, so you can see all of our videos. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so you can see all of our content. Welcome back to the show. We're so happy to bring you episode two. It was a very, very big week in the sports world, especially NFL as the regular season closes out. And we know that we are on a new, different platform. We're on Zoom today,
Yeah.
just with different schedules and things like that, and commutes, times like that. So just bear with us as we transition to this new dynamic of the channel. But we're still here giving you the best sports content that's out right now. Um, and so again, thank you so much. Hit that like button. We appreciate y'all. So what are we getting into today? I think a lot of things happen in the sports world, especially in NFL. What's our first topic for today?
First topic we got today is Lamar Jackson after he balled out this past week against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
He's got to be the MVP lock, right? I mean, there's no other way around it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he really does have it locked up. There it's really, this is really different. This season's been weird. And a lot of people have said that moving forward, in previous weeks. But there wasn't really a team that stood out until now.
Yeah,
And statistics wise, there wasn't a lot of people that stood out. Lamar, your typical guys weren't really um, playing up to their normal standards. Um, you know, Patrick Mahomes was not playing like an MVP. He,
yeah,
he's not going to win it this year. And it's really no fault of his own. He tried. He played well, but he struggled. The offense struggled. They couldn't really get going. A lot of
yeah,
Jalen Hurts, MVP candidate last season. He slipped up,
yeah,
and we really see as far as the team, the Baltimore Ravens have really dominated in key moments, and Lamar Jackson has been the leader of that team, obviously being the
yeah.
quarterback, and he's really propelled himself to the lead. And it's not even really with stats; it's just leadership and wins. And I think that's going to propel him to MVP this season.
You bring up stats, and that's interesting. I want to read to you his stats so far. So he has 19 touchdown passes, uh,
Hmm.
7 interceptions, and he's 66.3% completion percentage. And then he
Right,
has 142 carries for 786 yards, 5 touchdowns running. So
right.
compare that to, I guess, Hurts or Dak Prescott or whoever else. How do you think that lines up with other QBs?
Well, and if you look at his stats throughout his whole career, these are not even his best stats of his career.
Yeah,
And I think it was 2018 or 2019, the year he won unanimous MVP. His stats were crazy.
Yeah,
crazy, and these numbers don't compare to that at all. But like I said, team wins, the team,
yeah,
the dominance that they've had lately, against San Francisco, against the Dolphins, against the Lions, against the Seahawks, like those games, he dominated, and you really look to, um, other candidates that they don't really have those marquee wins against multiple teams that you can really put them put them up there against
yeah,
Lamar. But I think that's the question because this week we have an opportunity, I believe, for a player that could possibly steal it, and that's what I wanted to ask you about.
right.
Um, so the question is, can someone dethrone Lamar Jackson this week in a Week 18 masterclass? 'Cause I have a person in mind, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay. Um, that's tough. I would say no. I would say no. The only person that I think would be close, I'm not even sure if
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna play, and that's McCaffrey. Now
Okay.
I know this stat, the MVP stat is generally a QB stat. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But without McCaffrey, I mean, I feel like the 49ers would be a lot worse. But I think he has a calf injury. Um,
He has a calf injury. He's not going to play this week.
right. So, I mean, they have the number one seed locked up. There's no reason to play him. Um,
Right.
but the only other person I could think of would be Dak Prescott. Um,
That's who I was going to say.
that's who you were gonna say. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anybody else being able to dethrone him. But I could see the case being made for Dak. I really could.
Well, he leads the league in passing touchdowns with 32.
Yep.
He's top five in very many passing categories. His team has the chance to lock up the 2 seed with the win against the Commanders this week.
Yep.
Um, I believe that with Lamar not playing this week and Dak Prescott being a 2 seed, leading his team to a 2 seed, him leading in many categories, I think Dak Prescott with the incredible now he's gonna have to have a good game.
Right.
He can't. So I mean, if we look at his stats against Miami, he had over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Uh, he, he's gonna need a better game than that, and of course they're gonna need to win. They didn't
Right.
win that game against Miami.
Yep.
He's gonna need to win. I'm thinking if he throws the ball 50 times and he has 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards, I think, especially with Lamar not playing, I think Dak Prescott has a chance to steal it from him this week.
I could see it happening. I really could. Um, I was doing some research, and according to Forbes, they say Lamar Jackson has already clinched the MVP award.
Really?
Um, and they say he's the favorite. Obviously, not official yet, but they just,
Right.
according to their reports, they say he's clinched it. So they said the Dolphins game was enough.
Well, I mean, it was a perfect game.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely perfect game. He had more touchdown passes than he had incompletions. 18 for 21,
Yep.
over 300 yards, 5 touchdowns. It was an absolute masterclass. And
It was.
I mean, I understand. I understand, him giving that, but I just think, I think Dak has a shot. I don't know where he is right now in the MVP race right now. Maybe second or third, but I think he has a shot
I
if
think
he plays
third.
well. Third, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
If he plays well, he might have a shot to convince some MVP voters.
I
Um,
could see it.
it's a big game. Let us
Yeah.
know in the comment section what you think. Can Dak Prescott overtake Lamar Jackson in the MVP race? Is Lamar Jackson a lock? Let us know in the comment section down below what you think. Who is your MVP for this year? And who do you think is going to win any of the awards? Let us know down in the comment section. What do you have next on the agenda?
So next we got the Eagles and their situation, what happened this past week, losing to Arizona, and
Yeah.
kind of giving up the 2 seed as well as the NFC East. So I guess the question is, are the Eagles frauds? Are they for real? What do we think?
So, in my personal opinion, I'm not gonna say fraud is a strong word. I'm
Okay.
not gonna say they're frauds. I think they're gonna definitely limp into the playoffs. They haven't been playing well, obviously. Losing to Arizona in the way they did. We all know their struggles. Their defense is just not very good, and
Yeah.
their back seven has been underperforming all season long. They can't seem to blow anybody out. Their largest victory of the season was against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Ironically, winning by 14. That was early in the season. So,
Yeah.
and it just they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle. They're in the playoffs. They've already clinched. I do believe that they're going to get the 5 seed. I think Dallas is going to win Sunday against the Commanders, and let's see if they beat the Giants. That's going to be a tough game. The Giants really played them close 2 weeks ago in
Yeah.
Philly, and but now the Giants are at home and they're looking to spoil. They played well against the Giants. Played well against the Rams last week as well. So they've been playing better. Brian Daboll has really has lit a fire under him, and so they're looking to spoil. And divisional games are always going to be a little bit more difficult than maybe a normal conference game. I think they'll win. I think that the Eagles will win this weekend because they need to. That's really all I can say. I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs, but I do think they'll win Sunday. And just like I said, just because they need to.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. I said last week that, going into the playoffs, you have to be trending up at the right time. And the Eagles are
Absolutely,
doing the
absolutely,
opposite.
they are.
They,
They are.
I mean, you have stuff going on with AJ Brown and the coach, and they can't seem to be getting on the right page and not clicking. And so mixing all that in, I say they're frauds. I haven't liked them all year. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, that back seven has been very much so underperforming. Um,
hmm
I could see them losing first round. I really could.
Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on as we dig into our Week 18 matchups.
Yep.
Let us know in the comment section if we have any Eagles fans out there. Let us know what you all think about your team. Let us know what you think about the Eagles. How far can they go in the playoffs? We know they went to the Super Bowl last year. Um, so talk about it down in the comment section. We're going to be down there talking sports with you all. Um, so let's dig into that. Let's dig into Week 18 matchups for this coming weekend. We have two Saturday games, starting with the Steelers and the Ravens at I believe it's 4:30. I believe.
That's right.
Steelers versus Ravens. What are your thoughts?
So obviously you got the Ravens 13-3, number one seed. Um, and you have the Steelers coming in at 9-7. Um, with like you said, Lamar not playing. Um,
Yeah,
I still don't see a reason why the Ravens would lose. Um, Ravens are still overall better team, and I feel like like whoever the Steelers have playing quarterback, whether it's Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph, whoever it is, I still don't think they're good enough. That Ravens defense is still one of the best in the league, if not the best.
yeah,
Um,
I
so yeah,
agree.
I'll definitely go Ravens easily on that one.
It's a big game. It's a big game for the Steelers. They needed to get in. Pittsburgh is their favorite to win 3.5 by 3.5. I'm not sure if the line has moved. since earlier, since today or yesterday. But when I last checked, it was 3.5. So, you know, the Ravens are resting their starters. We're gonna see how locked in the Ravens are. Uh, Tyler Huntley has a lot of experience as a quarterback.
It's true.
So, I mean, the drop off from Lamar to Tyler Huntley, excuse me, is not going to be very much.
Yeah,
He was their quarterback last season in the playoffs, and trying to get in, and so he knows what to do. He knows how to run that offense. And again, like you said, the defense is going to be important, and defense is going to play well, obviously, like they always do. So we're going to see. This game is very important for multiple teams. We got
yeah,
Buffalo and for Jacksonville as well. So um, Pittsburgh does need help. They need to win to get in, but they also need help. They need Buffalo and Jacksonville to both lose.
right.
Jacksonville is going against the Titans, and Buffalo is going against Miami. We'll talk about that game more later.
Yeah,
It's a very, like I said, very important game. They need to win. They're gonna try to take out all the stops to try to win. We'll see how much the Ravens put into it. How many starters they rest on defense. They're not really an injured team too much. They
yeah,
may rest a few guys, but it's gonna be fun to watch for sure.
for sure. I'll give a quick shout out to Mike Tomlin. I know he's been there a long time, and
Yeah,
you
yes,
know I feel like right now he's just trying to keep the haven't had a losing season streak alive, and he has again. So with four, I don't know, three or four different quarterbacks, rotating team, shout out to him for just keeping them afloat.
every single year, he is an amazing coach. He hasn't had a lot of talent offensively recently.
Yep,
Since Big Ben left, and keeping that team afloat with injuries with TJ Watt, still keeping the team relevant. No losing seasons. That's a sign of an amazing coach. And I, if the Steelers were ever to fire him, I think that would be a travesty to the
yep,
organization. They
for sure.
you don't despite the you know maybe mediocrity you could call it, not being a high seed. As a Cowboys fan, I went through multiple seasons of 8-8
Yeah,
with with Jason Garrett, and it was not fun. Um, but Mike Tomlin is different. He's a different animal. He's a player's coach. He knows how to get the most out of his teams, out of his players, even with lesser talent. And so, like you said, shout out to him. But
yep,
we'll see what happens Saturday with this game. I'll definitely be tuned in so that we can talk sports later on with it.
for sure.
Next game we got is Texans versus Colts. This is the night game Saturday.
Yep,
Another very important game for playoff seeding. As of right now, the Colts are the sixth seed. They're in. Um, Houston is on the outside looking in, but of course, with a win, they can be in. Um, Interestingly enough, both teams actually can still win the AFC South with a win if Jacksonville loses. So
right.
um, this game is going to be very important. Jacksonville, they play Sunday. These two teams, Colts and Texans, play Saturday night. So who do you see coming out on top for this game?
This this honestly could be the best game all weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if it
Really?
was.
You think
It could be.
so?
There's so much
Okay.
on at stake for these two teams. They've been
Yeah,
battling, fighting all year long.
they have.
Um, I have the Colts defense on my fantasy team, so I kind of been following them kind of closely all year.
For sure.
But honestly, man, I'm gonna go Texans. I'm gonna go Texans. I think they really want it this year. They're gonna go for it with CJ. Probably probably gonna have the best rookie season ever, in my opinion, especially if they get into the playoffs for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Um, I'll go Texans in a close one. I'm gonna say Texans 24-21.
Ooh, barn burner.
Yep,
Um, I agree. I'm going Texans too. Um, CJ Stroud has been amazing, and
yep,
it really sucks that they had the injuries that they did.
yep,
Tank Dell was having an incredible season.
yep.
Unfortunately, he's out for the season. CJ Stroud had to miss a couple games due to a concussion.
Right,
I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. He definitely should. I know Puka has been amazing for the Rams, but I think CJ
yep,
Stroud, like you said, is having one of the best seasons as a quarterback ever.
yep.
Since Patrick Mahomes came into the league. But I mean, to be honest with you, it's not surprising. I thought he was the best quarterback coming into the draft this past season, so he should have been number one. Now, going to Carolina may not have been the best thing for him. We may
Yeah,
have had a similar season if he went to Carolina, just because Carolina has um, really doesn't have a lot of talent
right.
to go along with him and his skill set. So I'm glad he went to Houston, and I like you said, this is going to be a very important game because these are two rookie coaches as well, and
That's right.
so both of these teams have an opportunity to you know coach of the year for their respective ball clubs. With CJ being rookie of the year,
Yep.
um, it's going to be a great game. I think the Texans do win close. But I'm looking forward to see CJ in the playoffs. Hopefully, we can see that, and just to see him progress and see him in the playoffs and play big games. He's a winner. He played
Yep.
Ohio State, been to the college football playoff, played an amazing game. I think that was that against Alabama
I think so. I think
last
that's right.
year. Just that game, that matchup last season, um, where he just balled out, even though they lost. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see it. Texans are favored to win by 1.5,
Yep.
um, and they'll be watching Sunday to see if Jacksonville loses against Tennessee. But
Sure.
let's talk about that game because it's
Okay.
very interesting because Jacksonville, they've been slumping. Trevor's been hurt.
Yep.
They've had some defensive injuries. And the Texans, I mean the Titans, even though the record doesn't show it, they fight and they really personify their coach. They fight, they play hard. They came back and beat the Dolphins a few weeks ago, so they know how to win. Derrick Henry is still a force in the backfield. I don't really know how to call this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough game. I think the last report I saw is that Trevor will be probably a game time decision.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's what they said. Yeah.
yeah, yes, it's going to be a tough game either way. I think honestly, I'm going to give the edge to the Titans. I don't want to. I really want to see Jacksonville win this game. But especially with the injuries Jacksonville has and the, I guess, downward spiral they've been on the past 3, 4 weeks, I don't really see how they come out with a win. I really don't. So I'm gonna go Titans here.
That hasn't really necessarily been the consensus, but some of the pundits, on the networks have been picking the Titans to upset the Jaguars, like you said, just based on the
Yeah,
slump that Jacksonville has been on. And we'll see if with Trevor Lawrence is able to give it a go. They're really going to have to lean on the run game.
for
CJ
sure.
Beathard didn't have a bad game really against last week. Um, so Travis Etienne, he's gonna be a big factor in the game, of course. And we'll see if the Titans are able to spoil and send their division rivals home. It'll be tough if Jacksonville doesn't make it after their start. Um,
Something
after where they
something
started the season.
yeah,
Go ahead.
something interesting though is that CJ Beathard is also on the injury report with a shoulder injury.
Oh wow,
So I don't know if he's questionable or doubtful or what, but you have to watch out for that as well to see which QB is going to be able to go.
that's a conundrum.
Yeah,
It was a concussion for um Trevor, right?
it was
Or was it
shoulder, yeah,
the both shoulder? Okay,
both shoulder. Yeah,
okay, gotcha. So yeah, I don't know if they have a third quarterback, but he's gonna have to be ready,
yeah,
um,
for sure.
just in case. You never know. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Uh, you know, the Texans got to win. I mean, no, the Jaguars. The Jaguars have to win
For sure.
to keep their season alive. And so, let us know down in the comment section who you think is going to win the AFC South, who's going to take that sixth seed in the AFC playoff race. So the next game that we want to talk about is the Cowboys versus the Commanders, and this is a big game in the NFC for the
Huge.
Cowboys. They have to win to get the two seed. Um, they can't rely on the Eagles to slip up again. They both play at the same time, so they're not going to be able to check the scores to necessarily see, if the Eagles win or not. So they're going to have to put their best foot forward. This is a road game. Cowboys have struggled on the road the past few weeks. Can they put it together?
I'm gonna say yes. Um, I think Dak Prescott plays his best games in the NFC East against the Giants, Eagles, and Commanders. Um,
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a blowout. I think I think Cowboys are gonna come with it. I think they're gonna be ready to go. They know what's at stake. They know exactly what they need to do to win this game and to get the NFC East locked up. I got Cowboys winning blowout 35-14.
it's very interesting. I can see this game going one or two ways. I can see Dak Prescott, throwing the ball 50 times, over 300 yards, getting CD involved, um, throwing dimes to Brandon Cooks. Or I can see this game being closer, them trying to really iron out their problems, trying to get some offensive line play, getting running the ball, getting Tony Pollard involved a lot, and making it closer, and not really focusing on necessarily the win, but just trying to fix things. And it kind of scares me a little bit, just knowing the state of the Cowboys and how they play on the road. Um, Hopefully they rely on that. Dak Prescott has been their MVP. And CeeDee Lamb has been the offensive force for them. So hopefully they can take care of business and clinch the two seed because they really need the two seed. They don't want to be on the road, um, throughout the playoffs. That's not going to work for them. They don't want to play San Francisco in the second round either.
Right.
So they really need to get it together. They really need to fix their road woes and um, get it done. Win, baby, win.
Yeah. It's interesting though. Let me make you aware of this. The Cowboys are resting a lot of starters. I don't know if you've seen,
Let us know
but
who they resting.
so you got Brandon Cooks resting, Stephon Gilmore, cornerback resting, Demarcus Lawrence, Jordan Lewis, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and he also has an injury as well, so he'll be resting. Some big starters out for them. So you think that's gonna impact the game a little bit?
I had not seen the notification. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. Um, that's big. That's very big.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that philosophy. They should not be resting anybody.
yeah,
I think what you should do, you should play everybody, blow them out, and then hopefully by third quarter, you're beating them enough to where they can sit. That's
yeah.
the philosophy that I would take now. Dak is still playing, CD still playing, Pollard still playing.
Right.
Um, Bland is still playing. Deron Bland is still playing. So their main guys, I guess you could say, are still playing. But Sam Howell can throw the ball really
It's
well.
true.
He had 300 yards against them in the game on Thanksgiving. Now it was a blowout, of course, obviously,
Right.
but they're home. They have. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. That's going to play a factor into it. It may
Yeah.
be raining. So um, I don't agree with the philosophy to rest players. I don't. I think you got to earn it. You got to go out and earn it. You got to go out and take it. And I mean, I can understand if these players were injured. I don't think they're necessarily injured. I haven't seen them on the injury report
Right.
as of late. But we'll see what happens. That's an interesting development. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. I mean, I think even with this, a few starters resting, the overall talent of the Dallas Cowboys is much better than the Commanders. Um, Even with a few D linemen out, the Commanders' offensive line is still one of the worst in the league, if not the worst. Um, so Sam Howell's going to have a few seconds to throw every play. I still think Cowboys will have it pretty safely, but they have to get out. They have to get off to a fast start. I will say that you have to get CD and Pollard going very early and try and get the game, in your hands where you can control it.
I agree, and honestly, based on the players that are going to be out, I think this is going to be a Dak game, and he's going to determine whether they win or lose. Uh,
Yeah,
if if he if he doesn't show up, if he has two picks, if he's missing throws,
yeah,
they could very well lose this game. But like I said, if he's hitting CD over the top and really um, you know making plays, then they can win.
yeah. I like it, man. We'll see. I wouldn't be mad if the Cowboys lose. By the way, let me just throw that out there. I wouldn't be mad at all. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't I don't
yeah,
think they will.
yeah.
They got it. They got it. All
Well,
right,
I mean,
so
last year they did lose against
it's true.
the 26-6 last year against Washington last game of the season, heading into the
Yeah,
playoffs. So
that was such a weird
maybe
game.
very very weird, and maybe the Cowboys, are thinking about that, and they want revenge. But it's still very surprising to know that they're resting some starters,
Yeah,
despite the two seed being on the line. I
right.
I don't understand that philosophy, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So up next we got, and I'll mention I guess two games here, but we got Bears versus Packers, and we got Lions Vikings to decide the NFC North. Um, I guess we'll start first with Bears Packers. What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, Packers are playing for a playoff berth.
Yep.
The Bears have been playing really well as of late.
Sure.
Um, I don't know. I don't really have much stock in this game. I don't. It's not of very much importance to me. Um, you know, it's we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, I I'm gonna go with the Bears though. I like the way Justin Fields has been playing as
Okay.
of late, and the defense has really stepped up. Justin Fields is playing for his career with the Bears. He
True.
very well might get traded, but they've been playing very well as of late. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Bears. I'm gonna go with Justin Fields.
I like it, man. The Bears have been playing good. Fields has been, since he's been back healthy, they've been playing well. I think the interesting thing about it is, though, is if things stay the way they are right now, the Cowboys will play the winner of this game. Um,
Yep.
so,
Well,
who
if
would
if
you?
the if the Cowboys lose,
Right.
yeah, if the Cowboys lose and the Packers win, the Packers will be the six, and the Cowboys will be the. No, wait, wait.
They'll be the seven.
I'm
The
saying if the
Packers will be the six.
Cowboys seven, yeah, if the Cowboys win, they'll be the two seed. And they'll play the
Right.
Packers. Right. I
Yeah.
follow.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. I think honestly, man, I'm gonna go
And
Packers. I'm gonna go
it's
Packers.
your former team, or maybe like your kind of
Yeah.
team now.
Right. I still support them. I like Love, but they're at home, so I'm gonna give the edge to Packers. I think Love has kind of gotten into his groove, and I think you finally have AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones both healthy at the same time. Um,
That's
so
important.
yeah, so I'll go Packers here. What about Vikings Lions? Who you got there?
I think the Lions are they're mad, and they're gonna show it against the Vikings. They've already got the division locked up,
Yep,
um, and they have a shot at the two seed. So
it's true.
they're gonna play everything. They're gonna play everybody. They're mad about last week letting that one slip, or having it taken away. However you take that
Yeah,
game last week against the Cowboys, they're mad. They want revenge. They want to win, and they're gonna beat the Vikings badly this week, and they're gonna show why they're a high seed in the NFC.
yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with that. I got Lions winning big there, 28-3. So
Ooh,
yeah,
no Justin Jefferson sighting this week.
nah, I don't think so.
All right, well, I got Bucks versus Packers. The Bucks can clinch with a win. If they lose, the winner of the Saints Falcons game wins the NFC South. So again, a very important game for seeding in the NFC playoffs. Um, can the Panthers spoil for the Bucks?
I say no way. Um, I don't see, even with Bryce Young and Thielen kind of getting the connection built up. I still don't see how they beat the Bucks here. I got Tampa Bay winning pretty big. Even though Carolina's at home, I got Bucks taking it.
Yeah, Bryce has been playing better as of late,
Yep,
but um, I think with the Buccaneers kind of squandering last week against the Saints,
it's true.
a game that they should have won, I
Yep,
think they're going to take care of business and I can go ahead and clinch the NFC South and make it two straight division championships. Last year, of course, being Tom Brady,
right.
and now um, you know this week this year with Baker Mayfield. So um, big game. I think they take it.
Yeah. You mentioned the Saints Bucks game last week. This week we got Saints Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the Saints obviously have a chance to win the division as well.
Right.
Um, Saints are also at home.
Yeah, I don't know how to. This whole season for the NFC South has been just very.
Can't
It's like
describe
it's like
it.
yeah, it's just been very inconsistent. I mean, these are young teams. the Bucks have the
Yeah,
most experience, but it's a new offense. Baker Mayfield being there and injuries and just inconsistent play all around. You don't know how to really gauge it, how to call it. Uh, I don't know who's gonna win Saints Falcons. From week to week, I just I just
yeah,
watch and see and just okay, the Falcons won this week. Or I mean, I was really surprised that the Saints did won against the Bucks last week, but they have a
right.
decent defense. But I don't really trust Dennis Allen. He hasn't historically he hasn't been a good coach.
Yeah.
And Derek Carr has been mediocre at best in his career. So um, I'm not picking the Falcons to win, but I think the Bucks is going to win, which is going to make everything else or a moot point. So
Yeah,
um, I got the Bucks.
for sure. Well,
Like
I guess
I just gonna say like, comment, and
yeah,
subscribe. Thank
for
you
sure.
all for joining in and watching this episode 2 of the Talking Sports podcast. Thanks so much. Hit that notification bell so you can get all of our content. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna keep it going. What's next for us?
So we got another division up for grabs, the AFC East. We got Bills, Dolphins, Sunday night
Big
game.
game. Big
Yeah,
game.
huge game. I
So
would
I
say, oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
good. All
I
right, I'll
got
go.
I, Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll go. So I got honestly, I got Bills. Um,
Okay.
it was a tough decision to make here, but you got a lot of injuries on Miami's side of the ball.
Yeah.
Um, Losing Bradley Chubb for the season definitely gonna hurt. He was a big factor in that Cowboys game.
Yes,
Um,
he was.
and you got a lot of people questionable, kind of I guess limp into this game. A Chain with the
Hmm.
toe. Um, Xavier Howard, the cornerback, with the foot injury. Mostert has an ankle and a knee injury. So I don't know if
Right.
he's going to be able to go. And you still have Waddle and Hill with the ankle injuries as well. So I'm gonna go Bills.
Okay.
Despite the up and down season it's been for Josh Allen and that team, he still has 27 touchdowns, 16 picks, which is a lot.
Yeah.
But he's almost at 4,000 passing yards. So I don't necessarily. I wouldn't say I trust the Bills more,
Yeah.
especially going to the playoffs. But just with the injuries they have, I don't know how much the Dolphins are going to be up for this game. So I got Bills in a close one, saying 27-24 Bills.
Yeah. I think you hit it on the head. I think the injuries for Miami is going to be too much. And we saw what happened last week when Xavier Howard went out.
Yep.
Um, they Lamar just picked them apart. And
Yeah.
Xavier Howard is a good corner,
He is.
and we saw against the Cowboys where Jalen doesn't roam. He just stays to one side, so you can kind of play off of him, not throw to his side, and really take advantage of the holes that they had. And then, like you said, Bradley Chubb with a torn ACL.
Yep.
I know that was heartbreaking for them. He's really been the leader of the defense the whole season, especially before Jalen came back and getting pressured because they lost Jalen Phillips a few weeks ago
Right.
with either an Achilles or ACL. I don't remember which one, but they are, even though they have injuries, they are getting some players back. So we got the safety Javon Holland coming back. I
Yep.
think this is going to be his second game back from injury. They're getting him back. They're getting David Long Jr. He's coming back from his injury, another linebacker to kind of replace um, replace Chubb. I know Chubb was on the outside. David Long is
Yep.
a middle linebacker, but that's going to help them. on in that linebacker core. Um, I just don't know if I trust Josh Allen to really play the type of game that they need to that that Buffalo needs for them to win.
Yeah,
If you look at the stats the last few weeks that Buffalo has been on this win streak, they've really taken the ball out of his hands. They've been a
it's
run
true.
team. They rushed for over 200 yards against the Cowboys, and
Right.
so Josh Allen has not really been playing up to par. He's been turning the ball over against Buffalo. I mean, against New England and against the Chargers. Against Patriots have an okay defense, but they're not what they
Yeah.
used to be.
Right.
And the Chargers defense is horrid. So uh, if they're bad in the secondary, can Josh Allen really take advantage of that without turning the ball over? That's going to be the key of the game, I think,
Right.
because lately they've been running the ball so well. But if Josh Allen comes out and wants to play superhero, Superman, then we've seen him give games away before.
Yep.
So in a big moment, you've been playing playoff football for 4 to 5 weeks. Do you
Mhm.
revert back to your old ways, start turning the ball over again, or is this a game where again they can run the ball and trying to keep Josh Allen at bay and not really do a whole lot in a win? It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Who else we got? Any other games?
Um, I believe there are some other games, but those are the main ones that I had.
Yep.
But I do want to bring an interesting question to you.
Okay.
And it's a concept that, of course, we know about, but it's rest versus rust. We know that teams are resting a lot of starters this week, and it seems like really, more than what we've seen in the past. So, where do you stand on rest versus rust? I think it's a very interesting concept, especially for those one seeds that have a bye first round of playoffs.
So yeah, like you said, it's an interesting concept. I think the situation has to be right for you to rest your players.
Okay,
We mentioned a little bit about the Cowboys and already their decision to rest some starters on defense and offense.
right.
Um, if you're a team like the Ravens and the 49ers, where you already have the number one seed locked up, you got the first round bye, why not rest them? I mean, especially if you have some players hurt, you're going to try and get them more healthy. I can understand it. But if you're not the number one seed, I think you should be playing. And so I guess that's kind of my uh, decision making process about that is it's better to, like I've been mentioning before, I mentioned last episode and this episode, it's better to go into the playoffs trending up, feeling
Yeah.
confident, ready to play, and not rusty. I think we've seen teams before rest their players and then you have a wild card game and you come out flat or whatever the case may be. So I think some teams are definitely wrong to rest their players. You got the Rams resting starters. Some other teams are doing it as well. So I'm definitely leaning on the side of you should play and not rest unless you're number one seed.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think some teams just play it a little bit too careful sometimes, and they try to. Uh, by no means am I saying Christian McCaffrey needs to play.
Right,
He has if his injuries involved, I definitely understand resting because you want in the playoffs, you want that player or those players to be healthy going into the playoffs, and
right,
so resting is important for those players. But like you said, if you don't have a bye, you need that momentum. You need that good feeling going into the playoffs. Like the Eagles, for instance. they don't need to be resting anybody. Just being real with you, they need to be playing everybody. They need momentum. They need win. They need to win. They need to
Yep.
get back in the groove offensively, and I think honestly, my Chiefs, they don't need to be resting anybody either. They need to
I agree.
play. They need reps and they need game reps. Practice can't can't do it for you. Practice can only do so much.
Right.
And especially going against the Chargers, defense can be susceptible to big plays. I think they need to be playing.
Yeah.
I understand that the Chiefs are the Super Bowl champs. They have playoff experience, but this season has not been. And that's a game that we didn't really talk about. But Chiefs versus Chargers, just because they're really resting everybody, I didn't really think it would be necessary to talk about it. But we can get into it a little bit with this. I don't think they need to be resting anybody. Um, I understand the chance of injuries can be big. You never know what could happen.
Yeah.
You can not non-contact injuries happen all the time. We've seen it with a lot of these quarterbacks, Achilles and
Yep.
ACLs and things like that. But like you said, momentum is just so very important going into the playoffs. We've seen it, year after year. Wild card teams, you know, making it to, you know, big big games in the playoffs, and so uh, with this format where it's only one team getting a bye, you got to play. I think,
Yeah.
and like the Cowboys, like I mentioned with the Cowboys, especially if you're going against an inferior team, get in there, take care of business, blow them out, and then you can risk third and fourth quarter.
It's true.
Um, that's how I view it. It may, a lot of times it doesn't shake out that way, but I think you got to play. I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, guys, let us know in the comments what you guys think about the rust versus rest topic, and follow us on Twitter as well. We'll be getting active over there, doing some polls and posts for you guys. It's Twitter at I guess X now, but at TSPJDN. That's our Twitter, Talking Sports Podcast JDN. So follow us over there. And
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. We're gonna be every episode that we post here on YouTube, we're gonna be posting on Twitter as well. So if you don't see it on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. You'll see it over there. You can click the link. Our link is over there as well for YouTube. So check us out. Follow us on Twitter. Thank you all so much for that.
for sure. All right, guys. So we got a new segment for y'all this
Oh,
episode.
really?
We
All
do, yes.
right. Okay. Let me hear it.
Yeah, so it's called Nobleman of the Week. Basically,
Okay.
what this means is that we're going to be selecting one and maybe an honorable mention um, from any sport, whoever stands out the most of the past week, who had the best performance, best leadership, best qualities, whatever it may be. Um,
All right.
but yeah, so this week we have, shouldn't really be a surprise to anybody, CD Lamb, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, had an incredible game
Shout
last
out
week.
to CD Lamb
Yeah,
getting the first Nobleman of the week. Is that what you called it?
yes, sir.
I love it. I love it. CD Lamb had a huge game
Huge.
against the Dolphins, not the Dolphins, the Lions. He really won Cowboys the game. If it wasn't for him, they had no shot.
Yeah,
Um,
for
he
sure.
he was making amazing catches, breaking tackles. The play against the one on one where Dak slid out, avoided the safety, and threw the bomb down the
Yep,
field. That was an incredible play.
great play.
CD Lamb, I think he definitely deserved it. So shout out to CD Lamb winning Nobleman of the week.
For sure. Yeah, man. No arguments there for me either. 13 receptions, 227 yards, and a
Ooh,
touchdown. Man, he was
Yeah,
And I think he broke a record as well. Am I right about that,
yeah,
Michael Irvins?
he broke for receptions and yards
Yeah,
for a season in Cowboys franchise history, breaking Michael
wow,
Irvin's record. So yeah, definitely agreed. Great choice by you with CD Lamb winning Nobleman of the Week. We're excited, especially playoff edition, knowing who Nobleman of the Week is going to be. So let us know your thoughts, who your thoughts are, who could possibly have won Nobleman of the Week, and put their stats down there. Let us know, and we'll be checking that out as well. Uh, Thanks for commenting.
for sure. So we got one honorable mention real quick.
Okay.
Um, Somebody else who had a crazy game, kind of went under the radar. This position doesn't get as much love as I guess a QB or wide receiver, but we
Yeah.
got Harrison Butler for the Chiefs. Had a huge game against the Bengals. You can
Peace.
see, got the hoodie right there.
Peace.
He went crazy, man. Had 6 field goals.
Yeah.
Basically won them the game 25-17. Uh, his career best, 6 for 6. So shout
Wow.
out to Harrison. Crazy game.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets the
Yeah.
honorable mention.
Yeah. That was a great game by him. Clutch kicking is so very important, especially in these moments. Getting closer to the playoffs, end of year, when you need a win. Offenses maybe struggling a little bit. Defenses at a premium. You're playing better teams. The kicking game is so very important, and when you have a kicker that can really, knock them down for you in those clutch moments, in those waning moments of the game, it can win you a game. And ask Tom Brady, it can definitely win you a Super Bowl. So uh,
Absolutely,
you gotta have a great kicker. So shout out to Harrison Butker for sure.
for sure.
Excellent segment. I'm excited about
Yeah.
um, what's next to come for Nobleman of the Week. So thank you for that. So let's do something we haven't done before. Let's do rankings. Let's do rankings. I want to do top 10 playoff teams going into the playoffs. We know some teams are still, not necessarily in right now. Some teams still have to clinch. Some teams, have to win to get in. But as of right now, there are teams that are in. So, um, or even if you have a potential team that you think is going to be in, top 10 playoff teams, who do you have?
All right, this was tough. This was tough to do. And honestly, I'm kind of basing this list over the entire um, season, not just
Okay.
um, I guess last week or 2 weeks ago. But yeah, so number one, I got Ravens. Um,
Okay.
they need no explanation. 13-3, um, best team in the NFL, best record. I got Ravens. Number two, 49ers. Um,
Okay.
Obviously, best in the NFC. Um, Great overall team. They're gonna obviously rest this next game, but going into the playoffs, I got them going to the Super Bowl. So Ravens, Niners are my 1 and 2. Who's your 1 and 2?
I have the same 1 and 2. Ravens
Okay.
at one, 49ers at two. Um, they've they've been they've been the best teams in their respective conferences for sure. So you really um, can't really put them anywhere but 1 and 2 in the rankings.
Yeah, for sure. So for my next one, I got Cowboys at 3.
Okay.
Um, they've honestly, I thought they looked well all year. They've had a few, I guess, hiccups throughout the season, but I got Cowboys at 3. Browns at 4. Um,
Okay.
kind of a surprise team, obviously with Flacco balling out these past few weeks and that defense just being incredible. Got Browns at 4. I'll go
We got the
Dolphins at
same.
5. Do we actually?
Okay, so that's where we differ. That's where we
That's where we
differ.
differ. Okay.
Yeah, I got the same four, top four. I got the Chiefs at 5. I got my Chiefs at
Okay.
5. Um, and it's not really. So this is really like for me, it's really this season, but also they're the Chiefs and in the playoffs. That's when you see them come alive, and
Yeah.
whether that happens this season is it remains to be seen. But um, just thinking of the teams that are behind them, I don't think they'll lose to really anybody in the AFC that's behind them in this ranking that I have. I do think they would struggle with any other teams above them. So that's why I have them middle of the pack at 5.
That makes sense. Yeah. Chiefs are my 6, so they're
Okay.
right after Dolphins.
Okay.
But next
All
up,
right.
I got Lions at 7.
Okay.
I struggled with the Lions and Eagles. So Lions are 7, Eagles are 8.
Okay.
Um, my reason for that is I don't trust Jared Goff. Um, as much as much talent is around that team on offense and a few players here and there on defense, but I don't trust Goff. I think he's going to let them down, unfortunately, at some point.
Yeah.
But I'll still put him above the Eagles. The Eagles have just been playing awful these past few weeks. So Lions 7, Eagles 8, and then my 9 I got Buffalo, and then 10 I got the Rams.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we'll kind of have to obviously wait and see what happens there. But yeah, I think if Buffalo can scrape out a win against the Dolphins and the Rams can probably beat the 49ers. They're going to be resting everybody. We'll see what happens there. But if the
Yeah.
Rams can finish out the season 10-7, I think that's a great year, despite all the ups and downs they've had. So that's my list.
For sure. For sure. Well, I'll start at 5. I got the Chiefs, like I mentioned. At 6, I have the Lions.
Okay.
They're a good team, really good. For 7, I have the Rams. 8, I have the Dolphins. At 9, I have the Texans, which is different. I know they're not technically in right now, but
Yep.
I got the Texans at 9. If they get in, then I think they can hang with their defense. They can hang around with CJ Stroud. I know that
Yep.
they're a young team, but I believe in CJ, and I think they can make it a close game with whoever they play. And then lastly, I got the Eagles at 10. I think just giving respect to them, they started out the season very well, and they're Super Bowl runner ups last season. So I gotta give them a little bit of respect. So that's why I have them at 10.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. That's a fair list. Now, let's exclude Ravens, 49ers.
Okay.
The rest of that list, who do you trust the most?
Ooh, wow. That's a very, very, very good question. Man, that's tough. But each team has some different factors about them that you can't really um, it's a weakness. Cowboys, their weakness may be their the defense at times doesn't really play up to par as it should.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys are on the road, then they may struggle. Um, I Chiefs have been struggling this season with their wide receiver play.
That's
So
true.
that is a knock on them. Um, I guess if I have to pick a team that I trust the most, that's not the Ravens and 49ers, I guess I'll say Cowboys.
Okay.
Just because Dak has been playing, very, very well this season, MVP level. So I'll say Cowboys.
As much as I don't want to agree with you, I have to. Um,
Yeah,
I say Cowboys as well. If Dak and CD stay consistent and keep relying on each other, I think they could beat any team on this list. To be honest with you, I really do.
yeah. Well, that is our top 10 rankings playoff teams. Let us know your top 10 teams. and let us know down in the comment section what you think about our list. I think what we'll do is we'll put out a post just showing our top 10 teams, and you can comment and react to those. And so thank you so much for watching this episode of the Talking Sports podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what your thoughts are of the games for Week 18, and let us know also your top 10 playoff teams. Looking forward to this weekend for sure. It's going to be a great slate of games with a lot on the line for a lot of teams. We're looking forward to talking with y'all next week. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank y'all. Peace out.